The holidays are just around the corner, and for many of us women, that means more pumpkin pie, more Christmas music. It also means a lot of pressure. The pressure to host, the pressure to cook, the pressure to decorate, to clean, to plan, to give, to serve, to buy all the presents and show up in every way possible. Often, while we're doing all this, we're spiritually depleting ourselves. We're feeling exhausted emotionally and physically.
This week, we're talking about the invisible weight women carry during the holiday season and how, like Martha in Luke chapter 10, we can become anxious and distracted by many things and miss the one thing that truly matters. Welcome back to the Better Together Women's Podcast. Good to see all of you. My name is Jo Marie.
I'm Rachel.
And we are so excited because the holidays are around the corner.
Yay.
And we just felt like this would be a really great time to talk to you ladies and really just do a self-reflection, do a heart check to get ourselves ready, spiritually and emotionally ready for the holidays. Because the holidays are just around the corner, and for many of us, that means more than just lights, laughter, pumpkin pie, and some eggnog. It means pressure. And it's the pressure to host, to cook, to clean, to look perfect, for our houses to be decorated great, to have a cute little outfit ready for the holiday, and to just keep showing up and somehow keep everyone else happy, often while running on empty ourselves. And if we're not careful, this very season that's meant to bring us peace, joy, and reflect our what we're thankful for, and connection to our family can leave us feeling exhausted, resentful, and spiritually dry.
Yes. So that's why today we're talking about the unseen pressures, right? It's the weight that we carry as women and how, like Martha in Luke chapter 10, we can get so caught up in the doing that we miss the one important thing, which is the most important thing, what matters most, sitting at the feet of Jesus. So let's have a real conversation about how these pressures affect our hearts. It affects our homes, how we can choose presence over performance this holiday season. This will be the holiday season we change.
It's going to be this holiday season.
It is going to be this holiday season. Yes, Jo Marie,
Yes.
It is.
So I want to talk about, let's talk about the weight that we carry. And I think that for most people, it weighs more on the women of the family, right?
Yeah.
We have this added, I don't know if it's societal pressure or if it's on our own personal pressure that we put on ourselves, that everything has to be right and everything has to be this grand thing. But I don't know about you, but I think it's good to find out where that pressure that we put on ourselves comes from. Because I was thinking about this. I grew up in the Philippines and I came to America when I was 7. So obviously we didn't do Thanksgiving in the Philippines. So so for me, when I was starting at 7 years old living in America, my family, we did some sort of Thanksgiving, but it was always it was more like, let's have a little bit more than just regular dinner. So growing up, I didn't have these grand Thanksgiving celebrations with my family. We cooked roast chicken because we didn't like turkey at the time. So we did a lot of Filipino food and some chicken, and that was really it. And then it was more of a nice dinner. I felt like no stress. And then when I started having my family and my kids were growing up, I went to other people's homes. And so for me, initially, there was not this pressure of holding this grand Thanksgiving thing until I started hosting at my home. And then during that time, so that was about right around when social media started blowing up. And so for me, I think the presence of social media and seeing these
what
perfect
everybody else is doing,
little tablescapes and perfect meals and perfect family pictures got me thinking I have to do that Like I have to create this thing. So this thing that was never put on me by my family,
Right.
um, or my husband or my kids or anything,
Right.
I started putting this pressure on myself
Mm-hmm.
that I have to create this wonderful experience for my kids and my extended family.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm doing self reflection, I feel like I created this pressure.
Yeah.
Nobody else is forcing me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe ladies, it's good for you to figure out like, where did this pressure come from? Because it's
Yeah.
definitely not from the Lord.
No.
It's definitely not from the
Right.
church. So ask yourself, like, where is this pressure that you feel coming from? What
Yeah.
about you, Rachel? Like, where do you think
I
do you
don't
feel your pressure comes from?
It's definitely just listening to you. So I know it didn't come from family. It did come like once I had the idea that I wanted to create that perfect Thanksgiving and Christmas for my family. Um and I think so it's definitely for myself. I am a big like Hallmark movie fan. So
Well, me
that
too.
yeah, so I think that adds to it cuz everything's perfect. Everything's perfect. But also I think it's just wanting everything to be a certain way because I want everything to be, you know, special for my family. But it was interesting what you said about like social media coming into play cuz I think it's a good point. Like it we're not immune to that pressure. We
Mhm.
always talk about, oh, kids have this pressure from social media and no, it comes into our lives and our homes too.
Yeah.
And we really that's another thing to guard up against because we see all these people, oh my goodness, look what they were able to have and create, but we forget that people present the best parts, right?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of times like I post a picture and I'm like, you don't know the fight that was had to get that picture done, right? As soon as the picture was over, it's like, okay. All right, okay.
It's the highlight reel.
I
That's what we
know,
call
and
social
that's what it
media.
is.
It's
It is
fake
the
book.
highlight. Yes, fake book. That's a good one. So I think that is a good point. But it definitely was a pressure I put on myself
Yeah.
and my expectations. And you're right. I think it's more on women. Not that men don't care.
Right.
So okay, I'm not saying that they don't care, but I think the details don't matter as much,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're
Right.
just like, okay, there's food,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's, okay, everything's not spotless, but it's doable, right?
Yeah.
And they don't care about the matching pajamas. I
Right.
do. Like I do. Um
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
already like searching for this year's matching pajamas, but it's there's an but that doesn't matter to them as much, which is
Right.
probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely put on myself.
Right. And I think too, it's not just if you're hosting. I
Right.
think even if you're not hosting and you're just going to a family member's home,
Mhm.
there's still this pressure of, I want my family to look cute.
Yeah.
I want to look cute. I want to have my little Thanksgiving outfit.
Right.
So, and then like you get all mad when, like your
Y-
significant other, your husband, your kids are
Your
not
kids
matching, or
just
they're not behaving for the
or
pictures.
they
Like,
ruin that outfit right before they get there.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
Mhm.
also so many different ways that we can feel
Yeah.
pressured.
I think also if you're single and you're that person,
Mm-hmm.
like it's another weight because everybody wants to talk about your singleness.
Yeah. When are you gonna get married?
When
When
are
you
you
have
going
a
to get
boyfriend?
married?
What's your
Yeah.
career? There's a lot of pressure about
That's a
what the
lot of pressure.
conversation's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Where are you working? Why aren't you working? Or why are you having such problems finding a job? Like all of those things. It's like, it's supposed to be a time where you're feeling supported and encouraged and another time of fellowship and
Yeah.
and instead you're like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to face this. And it can be almost like a defeat,
Right.
walking in.
Yeah. See, so the problem and the dangers for all these pressures
Hmm.
is that it causes us to feel dry. It
Yeah.
takes spiritually dry, emotionally dry,
Hmm.
and it takes away
Yeah.
from the moment. It takes away from your personal peace.
Hmm.
It takes away from your family peace, and it takes away from fond memories or even just looking forward to the holidays.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's what God wants for us.
No.
So I think it's
At all.
important to talk about it. That's why it's good to reflect on where is this coming from
Right.
for me, because once you realize that for many of us it's not coming from anybody else but yourself.
That's right.
And I think once I realized that, I'm like, why am I putting this pressure on myself? And it doesn't feel good.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was really fully aware of this like last year,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, why do I feel like I have to do so much? Because I wanted to put a thing out there.
Right.
I wanted to make it seem like my family is going to be like, wow, this is so amazing, Mom.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do that, because God doesn't want that for me.
Right.
And God doesn't want that for any of us.
No.
So I think that's why it's important to have this conversation.
And I think if we take a step back, and maybe I'm jumping ahead of the conversation, it's really like if we take back all those things that we spend so much time trying to get perfection out of, can we still be thankful with all those things?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So then it's not that important.
Yeah. Because when I think about my childhood, when we just had the chicken,
Right. Yeah.
the chicken, and it was just my immediate family. It wasn't even all my extended family. It was great Thanksgiving.
By the
It
way,
was-
I don't make turkey either. No one eats it. No one likes
well,
it.
I eat turkey now. We do
Oh.
fried turkey, but it's really good, so we all eat it.
Well, to be fair, I haven't had deep fried turkey, so maybe, okay, not to offend all the turkey lovers, but we don't. But we're Puerto Ricans. We have roast pork. We have panin. So
Yeah. I mean,
that's our.
and I think
go-to.
when you look back on it,
Mhm.
if you think about your happiest memories during the holidays, it was probably during simple times.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When it's in the quietness and there's no phones taken out, and you're just there with your family and you're just laughing and you're just just taking it in, or
Yeah.
you're just watching your kids play.
Yeah, playing cards and just
It's the simple things.
it is.
And I think that's what God wants from us.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
today we're going to talk about, like, the Bible really addresses this for us. And I think, you know what, if you're trying to figure out, like, hey, how can I do better? What's God trying to tell me in all this? Just open up his word.
That's right. He has something to say about everything, and he has something to say about this.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Mary and Martha, and you're going to find this story in Luke chapter 10. And I think that, as Rachel and I were really studying this story, we feel like, sometimes, I've heard about Mary and Martha all the time.
Right.
For those of you that are, go to church regularly, I'm sure you've heard of it all the time. But, like, I just find that God's word is alive and it's living. And every time I reread a story, God shows me something different.
Yeah.
Or when I start studying something and I look at commentaries and I start looking at it in what these theologians are saying about it, God opens up my eyes to something. So I've learned a lot in trying to prepare for this podcast, and it's really beautiful. So we're just gonna read it real quick. Luke 10 verse 38 to 42. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. Sound familiar?
Very.
She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me.
Yeah.
Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Other translations also said, but only one thing is needed. And that part right there, like the one thing is needed, stuck out to me this time. And when I was reading the commentaries, they brought up that, there are other parts of scripture that talk about this one thing that Jesus speaks about. So he's telling her, like, he's very kind to Martha, right? He's like,
Yes.
Martha, Martha, you're worried, upset about all these things. Like, how many of you have been upset over the holidays? It's not just the holidays for me. I just feel like anytime I have company over, I feel like it's like I'm like a mad woman while everybody else is at peace.
Yeah.
I am a crazy person going, it's not clean enough, blah blah blah, company's coming over, and like I cause like a ruckus in my family. And then like 2 minutes before the first guest arrives, I'm like so like calm and happy, and like, and my family's looking at me like, they should have seen you a minute
That's
ago.
Yeah.
Like, you're crazy. Like, they're not trying to look under the bed.
Yeah.
They're not trying to, I'm like, yes, they are. We're cleaning it all up. Dust that baseboard right now.
That's so funny.
How many of you can relate, right?
Yes,
I'm not the only crazy one.
No, you're not. You're not. But I will say, I think I've become in the last couple of years more of a Mary, which both personalities are very important. One is not like, we're not canceling out anybody, but so now I'm not so crazy about all those little things now.
Yeah. I think it comes with maturity too.
Yeah.
And understanding, what's better.
Right.
Before we dive into that one thing, when I first, actually before this time, I always thought it was choose to either be a Mary or choose to be a Martha, right? Are you going to be hospitable all the time and worry about, making sure that you're a good host and making sure your guests are fed and everything's clean and worry, or are you going to sit at the Lord's feet? And I don't think that it's choose.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
forget
one or the other.
Martha and only choose Mary, because I think the Bible talks about being hospitable, making sure you're welcoming people into your home, making sure that you feed your guests, stuff like that. But I think that the focus is what are you doing first? So Jesus is saying you're worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. So I think that he's trying to say you need to focus on first things first, right? And some of the commentaries talked about this one thing that's mentioned also in Scripture. One of them is Psalm 27:4. It says, "One thing have I desired of the Lord, that I will seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple." Luke 18, when Jesus heard these things, when he's talking to the rich young ruler, he said to him, you still lack one thing. Like, he was doing all these good things, and he said, you still lack one thing. Come follow me, right? And you mentioned there was something in Philippians.
Yes, chapter 3, verses 13 through 14 says, "Brethren, I do not count myself to have apprehended, but one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead. I press toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus." So it's really focusing our eyes on what is most important, right?
Yeah.
And I think so what you had mentioned before is it's not, God calls us to be hospitable.
Yes.
It's part of, welcoming everybody. So if you think of it this way, like, so Martha is that type A person. Everything has to be planned out. They have their list and everything's got to happen a certain way. And Mary's kind of like, oh, let's be in the present and you enjoy the present. There's a place for both, because we are called to be hospitable. But think of it this way. We're called to be hospitable to show the love of Christ.
Yes.
We're called to be hospitable so that everybody can feel like they have a place and they belong and they're heard and they're seen. So if we're so busy in the little things, and when people leave our homes, they're like, oh, how was Rachel? How was Joe Marie when you went over to their homes? And like, well, they spent all their time in the kitchen, so I really didn't get to talk to them.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's like an opportunity we have to, and to anyone who comes into our home, right, to feel like, oh, did they have joy when they do it? And I think that's what it started for me, is that I don't remember if it was a sermon or something I read, but I remember it made me question my family. As a mom, we could all get crazy busy with everything. So
Yeah.
it's the doing, 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 the Martha, Martha, Martha.
Hmm.
But will my kids think back and say, wow, like mom was really miserable, doing all these things for us? Or will they look back and say, no, my mom had joy most of the time? I mean, you got to give ourselves some grace. But did mom have joy? Did mom really like doing all these things for us?
Yeah.
And I want everybody to say, oh, my aunt, my sister, my mom, whoever it is that you are to people, love doing these things for me. They found joy in it, and I saw
Yeah.
the joy in their heart.
Right.
And I think that's part of the hospitable. So it's finding that balance of how to be present in the moment so you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
And because time is fleeting, and you sometimes you don't have those opportunities to really sit and have conversations with some family members, and to have a time to pray together, um the way, when everybody comes together and enjoy that. So I know, for everybody it looks different,
Yeah.
but I think, that's why it's important that it's not one or the other. There's a reason both personalities are important.
Yeah. But I think that um, what scripture is trying to say is,
Mhm.
what are you doing first?
Mhm.
Right? What is the one thing? When we look at all the other scriptures that we just talked about, it's talking about seeking God,
Right.
about following God first. Um, that's what it means to love Him with all of your heart.
Mhm.
And I think that, I guess it's, if you think about it as like when you're on a plane, right? And the stewardess is talking about, you know, when the oxygen masks come down, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first
Right.
before you can help anybody else. And I think that if we're running on empty, if what's in
Yeah.
our heart is bitterness and anxiety and stress, we're not able to pour that love or that joy to our family members, to our friends and neighbors, if what's in our heart is what's coming out of our heart is overflowing anxiety
Right.
and stress. Like it's not genuine, it's not real. You're still trying to be fake when
Right.
inside you're really not well.
Right.
And I think that's why God's like, come to me first.
Mhm.
Fill yourself, fill your heart with me
Right.
first. Even when in the busyness of life,
Mhm.
and what will come out of you are going to be the fruits of the Holy Spirit, right? That's what's going to bless your family. That's what's going to bless you.
Mhm.
That's what's going to bless your home
Yeah.
if you come to me first.
Yeah.
I think we cannot be a good host. We cannot be that good, hospitable person. We can't be the best version of ourselves
Mhm.
if we're not filled with
100%.
the
Right.
Lord. If
Yeah.
we're not filled with His peace.
Right. And I think so. I think that's when I had that reflection for myself.
Yeah.
I think that's why I had to step back and say, okay, what is it, that most important thing?
Yeah.
And then how do I rearrange everything? Not that I don't want to, I still cook, I still do all that, but how can I do it differently? How
Yeah.
can I do it so it can be more pleasing to the Lord? That I'm really focusing that time on what is important, and that the time I'm using wisely, and it's effective. And well, I think once I do that, and I'm also, I don't care what other people think, right? I'm not worried
That
about.
comes with maturity as well.
Yeah.
That
Sorry.
definitely comes with
I'm like,
maturity as
yeah,
well.
but not caring, well, this is the way, everybody comes over and they're like, well, I wanted you to make it this way. This is the way I always made it. Okay, this is the way I made it. And this is, you don't have to eat it. But it's just not saying, really focusing on, okay, God, what is, I need the most important thing. fill me with the most important things so I can see differently. If you ask for it, if you seek and you ask, God is going to reveal himself to you. He wants you to have that prayer, right? And I find when you do that, he shows up and he shows you. He wants you to have nice gatherings, right?
Right.
He
Yeah.
wants, he's not saying forget everybody else. He's saying, you know, focus on, if you had none of this, it would still be good.
Right.
So stop focusing on all of this. All of this is going to be great.
Right.
Focus on what's most important. And I find it brings me more peace.
Right.
It actually calms. It's calming. So, I don't have to have, we could use paper plates. That's fine. It's good because
As long as
now,
it's holiday themed. No, I'm kidding.
yes.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes. And we still have matching pajamas. That's fine because that brings me joy. It does bring me joy.
That's funny. I remember when I first got married and we would do holidays at my mother-in-law's. And I remember she would cook these grand feasts, and she was always like preparing the more dishes. She's Italian, so it was like different, different. What do you call it?
Like
courses.
Right.
It had like a 10-course meal. And she was always working, and like people were trying to help her, but like we would all be sitting at the table talking and laughing, and we'd all be like, "Mom, come sit down. Mom, come sit down." And she's like, "No, no." And I remember thinking, watching her, like this is all that she's doing, but like she's really missing out on everything. And then when I started hosting, I caught myself doing that, and I said, I don't want to. No, we're not doing this anymore, because I remember how I felt. I remember I didn't want to miss out on the conversations and the laughter and everything. Because then I started hearing the laughter while I was doing the dishes and preparing the next meal. I'm like, nobody wants to help me. Like, these people are so ungrateful.
Not one person volunteered. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like robbing myself. So I remember I'm like, you know what? That helped me to remind myself, like, you know what? Yes, but what can I do so that I can be present with my family?
Yes.
Right? So in terms of this focusing on the one thing, which is, sitting with God, preparing ourselves before the busyness of the holidays, we have to think about it. How do we sit at the feet of Jesus, right? When people, Charles Spurgeon, one of my favorite theologians, he said it like this, like as people, we say we need a revival. But in order to do that, we need to sit at the feet of Jesus and hear his word. People say we need unity in our families, unity in our friendships, in our relationships. But we need to sit at the feet of Jesus and listen to his word. People say we need to win arguments. No, we need to sit at the feet of Jesus and hear his word. We need to reach the world. How are we going to reach the world? We're going to sit at the feet of Jesus and hear his word. So I think like what he's trying to say is
you need to sit at the feet of Jesus.
For whatever positive thing
Right.
that you are praying for your family, that you are praying for the connections that you're going to be making, especially during the upcoming holidays.
Yes.
First things first, the first thing that you need to do is seek the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you need to do is sit at the feet of Jesus. The first thing you need to do is listening to his word, studying his word, praying, whatever it is that you need to do to fill yourself, your heart, spiritually, so that you can be the best version of yourself, so that what flows out of your heart is joy, is peace, is love, and not stress, anxiety, bitterness, because nobody's helping you and nobody wants to clean and cook and all that stuff. So it's good to reflect on that.
Yeah.
So we're not telling you not to be like the Martha, right? We're telling you that what Jesus was saying is, do what Mary was doing first.
Yes.
Sit at the feet of Jesus. Speak to your Father in heaven. Read his word. Read his love story to you, which is the word, the Bible, the truth, the only truth that we should go by. Sing some praise and worship music. Whatever it is that you like to do some self-reflection, and then that will help you.
Yeah.
to then become the Martha.
Yes. If you don't take the time, and I love that be the Mary first, and that's going to help you be a better Martha.
Yes, I love that.
And so we were talking before, and when Jo Marie said that, I was like, oh, I like that because it makes total sense, right? When you as a mom spend time, make that time to go to a women's conference or go to a prayer service, right? And take that time for yourself to, and it's just about you taking time out from the noise. And our children can be noise sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They're wonderful and they're blessings from God, but sometimes we need to just have that time, and it makes you a better mom. It helps prepare you to be a better wife, because you have that quiet time. And I know it's difficult sometimes, but even if you begin to practice that quiet time every day, if you have 5 minutes, just say, okay, you know, it's practical ways to start it if you're not in that habit already. And sometimes we are in the habit already, but the holiday hits
Mm-hmm.
and we lose the habit. And I know, like, we're all guilty of this at times. So, but you will feel that chaos start to seep
Yeah,
in.
like something's not right.
Something's not right. Why am I feeling so crazy about? Why am I feeling so disorganized? Why am I feeling I'm all over the place? Because you're not making enough time for the sitting and soaking,
Yeah,
but so the chaos is going to take over.
yeah,
So it's so important. It's not that, you don't want to plan something great. It's not, it's making sure prioritizing the time as a Mary to sit at the feet of Jesus and just you and your Father. And then he's going to fill you so that you can be a better host, a better person to be the joy.
yeah. I think Martha
Gets a
got
bum rap.
yeah,
She
I
gets a
mean,
bum
she
rap
meant
sometimes.
well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think we all mean well,
Yeah,
but I
absolutely.
think she got distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think that Jesus is just trying to remind
Mm-hmm.
us to not take our eyes off of him.
Right.
Even in it's not just the holidays too. There's different, seasons in life. Like you can be, it could be graduation season, or
Right. Yeah.
it's your kids sports
Mm-hmm.
season, and
Yeah.
you're running around being like a soccer mom, driving around like crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
you just get so distracted with life in whatever season that you're in, that it tends to take our eyes off of Jesus.
Right.
And I think this is a good reminder that what is the one thing? What's
Mm-hmm.
the better thing that you could be doing? And the
Yeah.
better thing is always going to be Jesus. So when you start feeling like if your rhythms are all off, that's why it's important to have this rhythm, right?
Yes.
Of what are we doing? What habits are you creating in your life to ensure that you're
Mm-hmm.
sitting at the feet of Jesus? Like,
Yeah.
what is it for you? Are you, you know, waking up earlier to do, devotion time?
Mm-hmm.
Are you staying up later?
Right.
Whatever it is that you want to do, are you continuously doing that? Are you fostering that
Right.
habit? But so that when busy times come, you're still doing that habit, and it doesn't take your eyes away from the
Right.
Lord.
And I think what's great is that when you're having that self reflection and thinking about, okay, what am I doing? Don't condemn yourself when you miss it. Just get right back to it. When you look at how Jesus approached Martha, he didn't condemn her for being busy.
Yeah.
He was like, Martha, Martha.
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
gentle, right? And he's
There's
like, Martha,
grace.
Martha. Yeah. He's like, listen, you know, your sister's doing the one thing that's the most important right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Martha took that at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe it took her back, and it made her stop and think, like, wait a minute, she's doing the one thing that's the most important. Um,
We don't
so
actually get to see that part, right? Like what
yeah,
she decided to do.
right.
So I hope she decided
I
like,
hope
okay,
she,
let me stop, because
right.
But I think it's what Jesus says. He says, "Come to me, all of you who are
Mhm.
weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And I think in this, during the busy times of life, we put even if we don't put our own pressures on ourselves, life puts burdens and pressures on us. And Jesus is doing the same thing to you. He's saying, Rachel, Rachel, come to me.
Right.
When you're weary, when you're burdened, come to me. He's saying, Jo Marie, come to me when you're weary and when you're burdened, and I will give you rest. So Jesus desires that we have that peace and that we have that rest.
And I think it's important, like, come as you are. Say it. Talk to him. You don't have to have special words. You don't have to say it in a correct way, because Martha, I don't know, every time I read that, I feel like she said it with some attitude, right? She knew who Jesus was, and she was like, Jesus, correct her. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's us, right? Jesus, get that person, correct the situation, make them more grateful, make them want to help me more. Right. And so it's okay to come to Jesus that way, because he's just like, come. I want to hear it so that I could say, Rachel.
Yeah. And as you're saying that, I'm just thinking too, like, where is that coming from? This feeling of, why aren't these people helping me? Like, look how good I am, and whatever. Like, is it a pride?
I work so hard, and they're not appreciating it.
Are we also being prideful? You know what I mean? That's something to think about too.
That is.
Like, I want people to pat me on the back.
Right.
And they're not.
Yeah.
I want people to feel sorry for me, that I'm doing all this work by myself and they don't want to help me.
Right.
Like, are we having a pity party?
We want to be the martyr.
Right.
But at the same time, we need to think, like, did we ask anybody to help us? Sometimes we're waiting for that person to step up, or those people to step up. How about asking? Saying, hey, can you help me do this?
Yeah.
Because that also can be a little bit prideful too, right? Or can you help me clean up? Can you help me? Can you bring a meal? Can you cook this? Whatever it is, like, ask them to join you in it. Yeah. Because sometimes that could be a little bit about pride too. And then we start to get that bitterness, like, they didn't even offer, they didn't do this,
Yeah. Just say, what is it that you want?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
Tell people what you want, because sometimes they just can't read your mind.
Yeah. You can't get mad for someone for something they didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing that I think that we need to talk about is, what are you going to say no to?
Yes.
This holiday season. Because I think part of the pressure is we feel like we have to do everything. We have to go to this person's party and that party and give this person a gift just because,
right.
Like, you think we're supposed to, and we're supposed to spend this amount of money because, for whatever reason, you feel like you have to set up, like, a certain amount of gifts and all this stuff. So this added pressure is, again, sometimes we put on ourselves. But what is it that you can do? What can you say no to that will alleviate some pressure off, alleviate some heaviness from your shoulders?
That's
this
a good
holiday
reflection,
season.
Yeah.
What about you, Rachel? I'm putting you on the spot right now.
No. What can I say no to? I don't know. I really have to reflect on that and think about that, because, like I said, and I'm nowhere near perfect in it, but I want to say the last couple of years I've done this. I purposely have gone back and planned differently, so the day of, I'm not busy doing, because I want to just sit, like, I make jokes about the Christmas pajamas, but I've been doing it for years, and I do it because I love it.
Because you love it. And
I
that's
do
fine.
love it.
And you're not doing it just because somebody else is doing it and you just want to be just like them, but it brings you joy, and it gives value to you.
Yeah, I love it. Also, on Christmas Day, I don't change. Like, I stay in the Christmas, so that's an added pressure off of me. I don't have to worry about what I'm wearing. I stay in my Christmas pajamas all day. That's it. And I tell everybody who comes, like, you could wear what you want. We're wearing our pajamas.
Right.
The only one, my husband doesn't stay in his pajamas. But but I
Scrooge.
do. Yes, Scrooge, Mark. But so that's one thing, but also like I plan the cooking differently.
Mhm.
So I, instead of like me making up this menu, I always ask my kids, what is the one thing you really want to have?
That's a
I
good
know the
idea.
one,
Yeah.
what's the one thing my mother-in-law really wants to have there. I know the one thing, I ask them, what is the one dish? And then okay, I make that, but a lot of it, because honestly some meals taste better the next day, I will make it the night
Yeah.
before or the day before, so that that day I'm just putting it in the oven to warm, and then it's done. And so then it's just like putting all the food out, paper plates it is, and we're eating together and we're praying before the meal together. And I'm not like praying thinking, oh my goodness, I don't have this. It's just, I think I just planned it.
Preparation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I planned it differently. And I think um I don't feel like everything has to be so perfect anymore. And I
Right.
don't know.
And your kids are still happy,
Yeah,
right?
they
And your
are.
husband is
The
still
one
happy.
year, the one year, like I was really exhausted and I was feeling stressed because I waited till the last minute on my pajamas. And I know you guys are gonna have something to say about the pajamas, but and I thought I'm just not gonna do it because no one ever even cares about the pajamas. I'm the only one who cares.
Yeah.
So like I told the kids, like I'm not gonna do the pajamas this year. And they were like, "What do you mean you have to do the pajamas?" And I was like, "You care? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna do the pajamas."
You created a family tradition.
Right.
Yeah.
So now like it actually gave me more joy because now I'm really like, oh, I know they're gonna miss it if I don't do it.
Yeah.
So, but so I do enjoy like my search for the pajamas, which sounds crazy, but so I've just learned to do it differently, and I just feel like it comes with
Yeah. You found something that
maturity.
works for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think I plan it better, but I there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You know what might be good is to ask, like to ask my kids, ask my husband. That could be dangerous, but I'll ask them like, what do you think I could do better? What do you think could
Ooh,
just? It's a hot
ooh.
button, but maybe like like, do you think I'm not there enough? In that moment. I don't mean there, I'm there. But, and
Mhm.
if I'm not present enough, are we focused on what's important? Thanksgiving is about being thankful, about being
Right.
grateful.
Mhm.
We're blessed with so many things.
Yeah.
Um, I think it might be good, and not that I'm going to agree with everything they say, but maybe it'll give me something to pause and think about.
Right.
And I think I might do that.
Yeah.
I
I
might
don't know. I'll think about that.
I know. I gotta think about that because that could be a loaded question. But I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna pray and maybe ask God to
Yeah.
reveal to me. And I guess that's what we want to, also have all of you do is like take the time this holiday season for this Thanksgiving and think like, Lord, what is the one thing that
Mhm.
maybe I need to remove from this holiday season that really distracts me from the most important thing,
Yeah.
and instead of drawing me to the one important thing,
Yeah.
and ask for his help in seeing it, and he'll give you eyes to see it.
Or
And
also
yeah.
to add,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
what is it that I need to be doing
Mhm.
that I'm not doing? What is distracting me from sitting at your feet, Lord?
Yeah.
What is it that I need to be doing so that I can do the better thing?
Right.
What's going to help me be better for my family,
Mhm.
be better for myself? How can I draw near to you, Lord?
Yeah.
Just have a like an open, transparent conversation with
Yes.
God. He loves that,
Yes.
And I think that he'll reveal that to you for sure.
So another question to ask yourself is, how is a good way to host or serve this holiday season from a place of peace and not pressure?
What do you think that will look like for you
Yes.
and your family?
And we're going to reflect on that for ourselves too.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, Jesus, we talked about earlier, Jesus didn't correct Martha because she was working. He spoke to her because her focus. It was the state of her heart.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all about the state of our heart. So this Thanksgiving, we just want all of us to learn to take a moment to pause, to really think about in the midst of all of this busyness and chaos that it could be, because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be chaotic and it really shouldn't be chaotic,
Right.
right? Let's remember what is the one important, truly important thing, and and it's necessary, right? This is necessary for our peace.
Mm-hmm.
It's necessary for our homes. It's necessary for our lives. So how can we be more like Mary and choose the better, most important thing? And that's what we want to leave you all with. And we're leaving it with ourselves too.
Yeah, because we want to talk about that. Join us for our next episode where we talk about some practical ways that we can apply all of this to our lives. What are some practical steps that we can
Yeah.
do so that our holiday season can be full of joy and full of
Yeah.
peace? One where we are connected to Jesus, and one where our hearts are overflowing with his peace, with his love, with his joy, and that can extend to whoever we come in contact with, our friends, our
Yes.
family, our neighbors. And it is going to be a joyous, joyous holiday season, Christmas season for all of us. So
Yes.
join us next time, ladies. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment box. We'd love to answer them. And we can't wait to see you next time. Remember that we are
Better together.